Episode 15 showcased the 2 core scenarios that deer hunters now look for. Get lucky and have a doe bolt by your stand, or use the time of year against the bucks while they're out searching. Decoy usage and calling was a popular play the past 2 days, and it's easy to see why. Used correctly, they can pull bucks away from their original path, pulling them into range for an up-close bow shot. Electing for a mix of both options, November 11th sees Mike Reed back on the river farm, tucked into a large doe bedding area with great visibility.
He's going towards the little buck.
Yeah, it's broken too.
It is November 11th, Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day to everyone. Thank you to all of you who have served or are currently serving. Ryan and I are set up down at the River Bottom Farm. We're on the north edge of the central timber in this little white oak. We've hunted it a few times in the past. We've had a few young bucks chasing does around in here as they're slowly making their way back into the bedding. This whole little wetland central timber is generally a big bedding area. We laid eyes on the broken 210, who I think is a 5-year-old. He was across the way this morning, followed a doe in here. The wind is forecasted to be southeast, which just angles it right back to the river. But it's all over the place. It's really light and variable. So I'm counting on the sun to get up and take our thermals up. We're in here after Fitzmagic. He was daylight 2 days ago. I had to work the last 2 days. And he was kind of all over camera. He was in the morning in daylight and the evening in daylight. I think he was probably between does. We made a short hunt yesterday evening on that lane, just a little bit closer to the ag fields because we got in here late. And we had a good hunt. We saw a great 3-year-old 10. He's just a beautiful deer. I did get an update on Rocky. One of the neighbors ended up shooting him 2 days ago. So Rocky is officially no longer. And I was really appreciative he let me know. That way I don't spend a whole lot of time chasing him. It's about 30 degrees right now, so it's pretty chilly. High humidity, you can feel the moisture in the air, so it makes it a little extra cold. But the sun's coming up. Highs around 50 today. Hopefully Fitzmagic shows up.
While the river bottom awakes in front of Mike, 378 miles to the southwest in Kansas, team member Nolan Rediker is also out hunting. This time, he's on the ground using a decoy.
Well, good morning, guys. As you can see, I'm not in your typical rut setup this morning. Basically, out in this pasture, there's a middle draw, and that's kind of where all the deer bed. And there's a south brome patch and a north brome patch. This morning, I'm hunting the south one. I'm after the big 9 this morning. The big 9's been all over the cameras, pretty much everywhere, but I'm set up hoping that he comes out of some of this timber to the south into this pasture to look for a doe this morning. So it'll be really cool if a buck comes into this setup. So we'll see what happens.
cool was that? He just kept coming closer and closer. He was at like 5 steps. He literally spooked off my camera's autofocus. I love doing the decoy sits. That was such a cool encounter. Hopefully we can get one of the big boys to do that.
While Nolan waits on the Big 9, 408 miles to the east back in Iowa, Gavin Katurba is finally back in the woods. With many options to choose from, Gavin selects the spot he calls the duck pond on the public land he's hunted all season.
It's November 11th today. Back out on the public. We came in here to this, we're calling it the duck pond set because it's right next to this old dried up pond or something. This spot is right on the edge of the big bedding area. A lot of the deer hopefully will be kind of cruising this or coming in and out of here looking for does. Feels like any day now we're gonna encounter this 6x5 again. He's been decently active in here. We will see. Hopefully it's a good morning. Giant. That's that bladed aim. If I had to guess, that's a 6+ year-old buck. I had him, pictures of him my intern year. Last year, pictures of him. Never hunted in here, and then this year got him back again. He's got me shook up a little bit, just a little. I mean, that was like such a nail-biting encounter. Breaking branches off and rubbing and scraping and everything. The lockdown phase at its finest, I guess. The closest he got was about
3 yards. Man, that was awesome. What a beautiful deer.
Already experiencing a great hunt, Gavin settles in with high hopes that the doe will lead the bladed 8 by his stand. Back on the river farm, Mike Reed's hunt hasn't skipped a beat.
It's about 10:30 and we are gonna wrap up this morning's hunt. Pretty much constant activity the whole time we were here. It's the time of year, you know, it's feast or famine. I mean, it's, especially if you're hunting one particular deer, you know, they get locked with a doe, you just won't see them for 3 days. And so we just gotta stay patient and put our time in. And I mean, the general rule of thumb this time of year is focus on your pinch points and your doe bedding area. This is certainly a good doe bedding area. And I think if Fitz wasn't with the doe, you know, we probably would have seen him this morning based on how active he's been. But we're gonna get packed up and we'll see you guys this afternoon.
Mulling over his options for the evening hunt, Mike heads to the drawing board to make a plan. That same day, 130 miles to the southwest, Caleb Greiner is also on stand, still trying to put the pieces together on the buck he calls Junkyard.
Just routed that buck up here. Man, I could have whacked him right here at probably 15, 20 yards, but it looked like a 3 or 4 year old. Thinking about this spot, we're right next to bedding, big funnel. I think this is going to be a really good 11 to maybe 2 o'clock spot, maybe even afternoon, but I think the bucks are going to be cruising here. Since I don't feel like we're in the game as far as these deer naturally coming right next to the stand, I think we gotta go grab a decoy, get it right in here real quick. So we should be able to do that within the next 30 minutes. And I think it's gonna be worth our time doing it, even if we miss something. But we'll leave everything in the stand, get back up in here, hopefully soon.
With the newly placed decoy set, Caleb hops back in the tree for the evening hunt. Back to the east on the river farm, Mike Reed is following his own advice. Electing to hunt a spot that he feels has the most evening doe activity, he and Rye slip in using the Kaufman e-bikes and dried up slough for undetectable access.
just got set up here for the afternoon. We're back in this little red oak, sitting on the green plot and where this lane comes out of the central timber. Wind is closer to predicted. It's a little more east than what they have forecasted, but at least has a decent amount of south in it. It still feels nice and cool. It's upper 40s, overcast. The pressure's still over 30.3, but it's going to be dropping over the next 24 hours. I keep coming back here because so many does come out right here in the evening. We've had a lot of great hunts, and this has been the most active area for Fitzmagic, so hopefully he shows up tonight. What? Oh no. That was not good. Might have gotten the femoral.
I'm guessing he's gonna go down.
I know. I see that. Oh, I got so lucky right there. He's definitely down. They haven't even moved. What is going on? I knew it was gonna be him too. It's 3:30. 2 hours before dark. On Veterans Day. Well, we've had all these fawns sitting under us, and then we had baby 8, he's got the broken G2 come through. And all of a sudden I can hear a chase coming, but I've got all this cover in this tree so I couldn't see. Well, that doe came through the willow thicket, and I hear a grunt. And in my head I'm thinking, it's gonna be him. And I stop him, I tried to stop him 3 times. Finally he stopped, he was quartering away pretty hard. And I don't think my anchor point was very good. He was quartering away, like I said, pretty hard, and I was gonna shoot him to the offside leg, which would have been behind the rib cage, and it went right in front of the hip, which a lot of times if you hit right there, you can luck out, you can cut the femoral artery. I didn't see a ton of blood coming out of him, but he's dead at 75 yards, so I got bailed out right there. I mean, that kind of ruins the moment for excitement when you make a bad shot like that. But a hot doe, November 11th. He was locked on that doe, pushing her around. Well, the funnest thing about this is that my kids are down here at the cabin, so I'm gonna call my wife and have her bring them out. And then we'll all be able to go recover them together.
While Mike waits for the Reed clan to arrive, back in southern Iowa, so far Caleb Griner's only deer sighting has been his decoy.
Well, that's pretty much gonna wrap it up for the night. Not really sure how many deer we've seen. Probably 8 or 9 bucks overall. I'm guessing since we're so close to peak estrus right now, that there was a lot of does that came into it, and these bucks are just so tied up with these does that are in heat right now. Junkyard has been all over where we've been hunting, so we're gonna head that way tomorrow morning, but I've got a couple sets that I want to hang in the dark tonight. Reason being in the dark, just because these deer are out in the destination ag fields. I know I'm not going to bugger anything up in the dark, so hopefully tomorrow's a new day and a little bit better action.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. Whole crew's here? Whole crew's here. Let's see if we can stink up the woods. Hi, Tate.
It also happened to me. Wait, did you see him go over? Where did he fall?
Yeah, we did. He was standing right here when we started filming him.
Hello.
He was standing right here,
Hello.
and then he turned and ran this way. Another tip for blood trailing and a good being quiet is to not stomp on everything you're looking for blood in. Found it. Scared him. So he was quartering away really hard. Now I was aiming about right here because of where he was quartering away, but I hit him a little bit farther back. But the arrow got in there and did the trick. He didn't go very far, did he? This is Fitz.
Yeah, Fitz.
What do you think?
Can I see?
Well, really fun to have the family out to recover him. It's one of my favorite things to do is get all the kids out here and let them see the deer and find them and all that. The shot wasn't as bad as I initially felt. You know, we kind of talked about that in the tree. He was quartering away pretty hard. I'm to rise left. When we're on the edges of our platform, it's 3 or 4 feet. So from the camera angle, on my perspective, it's even a little farther quartering. And when we got up to him and saw the broadhead was actually in the offside leg, offside shoulder. So it got up into the lungs. I still think it's probably just to the left of the heart, and it probably cut that artery in the back of the leg to have him die that fast. Anyway, blessing for him to expire right there that quickly on camera. We're gonna get him loaded up and head back to the house and enjoy this the rest of the night. What do you think, Bill?
I think I'm very happy that my dad has shot DK and now Fitz. I'm just super proud of you.
Oh, you ready to get out with your bow?
Yes. Yes.
Start practicing a little bit more, and then we're gonna get in the stand.
Kill deer mode activated.
He just kept coming closer and closer. He was at like 5 steps. I love doing the decoy sits. That was such a cool encounter. Hopefully we can get one of the big boys to do that.
I'm guessing, since we're so close to peak estrus right now, that there was a lot of does that came into it, and these bucks are just so tied up with these does that are in heat right now. Probably just gonna be slow hunts for maybe a couple more days.
November 11th, we're into that sort of lockdown phase. This time of year, you just gotta put your time in the stand, you gotta be patient. For those of you that have been following along for the last few years, you know that my brother's a veteran. Just want to really say thank you to all the veterans out there, everyone who's currently serving and who has served in the past.
Why Mike Reed will remember November 11th is up for interpretation. Maybe it'll be the end to another monster buck chase, or rather an afternoon spent in the woods with his entire family, passing down lessons and guidance with every single step. Regardless, it's now time to hang up his bow and follow blossoming hunter Bella for her long-awaited first bow hunt. Day by day, more of our team continues to disappear from this story, reaffirming the legendary season we're currently living in. For the remainder of us with tags, great news is on the horizon. Tomorrow, we get another crack at joining the party, and we know exactly where we need to be. Somewhere out there, the surge of crashing leaves echoes with an intensity that we can only hope passes by our stands, giving us the shot we've all been dreaming of. Like Mike showed us, in the flicker of a moment, dreams can take shape, and this is what drives us as we continue chasing November. As we near the middle of the month, each day takes us closer to when the peak number of does will be in estrus, setting the stage for a feast or famine showdown. With the only guarantee existing that you can't get a shot from home, the morning of November 12th finds Caleb Greiner continuing his quest for the junkyard buck.
We're starting things off on a positive note. We've only had Johnny Bravos coming in, all bark, no bite. Finally, we had one mess up the decoy. It's fun to watch, but we've got a southwest. That's why we came back to this set. We're blowing it back over the standing corn. So far, it's been working perfect. We've seen a couple of bucks that we've been filming the last 2 weeks pretty regularly. But this last buck that came into the decoy, it's a new buck. Maybe that means that there's less does available and these mature bucks or just bucks in general are just gonna be out cruising some more today. But we've got some high winds coming. Last night we had 0 intel on Junkyard. But November 12th, you never know what could walk by. Hopefully it's big. Big and mean. We like them mean.
Forging on through his all-day venture, Midday doesn't bear the fruit Caleb's searching for, and 0 deer cruise through. With plenty of hunt left in front of him, time on stand is now the trump card. That same afternoon, 126 miles to the east, Zach Rosmus is playing a similar hand. Heading back to Area 52 with a landowner tag in his pocket, Zach's toting the buck decoy in a stand location with great visibility.
All right, welcome back to Midwest Whitetail. We are back down here on Area 52. It's November 12th. We got a strong southwest wind tonight, so we came back to that hang and hunt set that we did about a week and a half ago, and we had that encounter with that dog that really ruined a lot of stuff that night. But I left this stand in this location because it sets up really good for a south wind, and essentially this hang and hunt has essentially become more of a permanent set at this point in time. So just to have a few more locations for us to hunt down here on Area 52 now that we're concentrated on this farm specifically. We're in here what seems like early tonight, and Pretzel and T-Bone have still both been really active on camera, so I think that this is a spot where we're probably more likely to encounter that buck I call Pretzel, just because he's been showing up on this camera a little bit more frequently. Definitely something down there, isn't there? Looks like it's right on the bank, like closest to us. I can't really see anything right now.
With the greatest decoy of all in front of him, Zach tucks in, hoping the does lead to the bucks. That same evening, 556 miles to the east in Indiana, longtime team member Clayton Dillard is also hunting. Mirroring Zach's strategy, Clayton is set up on a large field, hoping to fill his first buck tag on his own dirt.
Hey everybody, welcome to Midwest Whitetail East. We're hunting the farm here in Indiana tonight, and it's about 60 degrees. Slight breeze from the southeast, and it's November 12th, so we're sitting over a winter wheat field tonight. It was planted about 3 weeks ago, and it's starting to come up looking pretty good. Looks like a big old food plot, so we're gonna sit here on the edge of the field, and maybe have a doe come out and have a buck come out and check her. So we haven't hunted down here much this year, so really not for sure what kind of deer are running around. So in fact, we got a doe coming out in the field right now, so oh man, good buck. got him. I just shot a really good looking buck down here at my farm. Looks like he's got a little bit of a drop time, but about a 35-yard shot on him. He walked out in the field broadside and I hit him just perfect. He's down in the field, so we got a buck down on the ground here in Indiana. We're gonna give him a little bit of time and get our hands on him, so.
With the sun sitting plenty high, Clayton elects to get out of his stand to round up the troops for the long-awaited recovery. That same evening, 556 miles to the west, team member Nolan Redeker is getting a late start to his hunt.
Well, good afternoon. It is November the 12th today, and November the 12th is one of my favorite days to hunt. 7 years ago, I shot my first buck on film, self-filming, on November the 12th. So ever since then, it's kind of been one of my favorite days to sit. So we're coming out this afternoon to give it a shot. I'm after the big 9 tonight. He was on camera this morning, and he was headed north, which is into the big doe bedding area in this area. And previously, earlier last week, he came by this camera that's in front of me here, and I went north kind of on the same pattern and actually came back by in the evening. So I'm hoping that's what he's gonna do tonight, and hopefully he'll give me an opportunity. Hopefully he doesn't find a doe in that bedding area today and comes out tonight and gives me an opportunity. I got my fingers crossed. He's a really nice deer. About 70 degrees today, but I don't think that's gonna affect the movement too much. We're getting into the heart of the rut, and I don't think the weather's really gonna matter. So hopefully we can get lucky tonight and the big 9 can come out and give us a shot. Well, as you guys just saw, pure madness just broke out. That was crazy. I've never had any experience like that, especially with rattling. It was crazy. I could just hear bucks coming from everywhere. And I was barely in my rattling sequence, and bucks are just flooding in from all directions. Man, he's in here. I'm gonna definitely come back in the morning. I think there's a good chance he'll come by. I don't think he's spooked or anything, but what an encounter.
Back in Indiana, Clayton Dillard is taking up the trail with his most cherished hunting buddies.
This has always been a dream of mine to kill a deer on my own property, and tonight we finally did it after 4 years of owning this land. So he's a pretty unique little buck, got a little kicker and a little drop tine, so pretty excited to have my kids with me tonight and my wife. So this is something I hope one day they take after and want to do as well. So thanks for watching Midwest Whitetail, and good luck this season.
While Clayton soaks in the core memory, back on stand in Iowa with time left on the clock, Zach Rosmus continues his hunt, hoping to notch a memory of his own.
Grunt. I don't think that's him. I see 2 deer.
That's the buck that's been doing all that grunting and stuff. Yep.
That's so cool. That's a flyer buck. I think we'll shoot him die if we get a chance. Alright. He's a big flyer buck.
It's that white den.
Yeah. He's a shooter tie. I know what buck that is. It's a white den. He's got a fork too. We're just kind of limiting what we can do, because if I grunt at him right now and die, they're just going to go right downwind of us. Gosh, that guy looks pretty good right there, don't he? He's coming to the
just now doing our update, and our update is also our closer tonight. Man, it was a good hunt. We had a lot of rut activity tonight, saw a lot of different bucks. Actually 2 different bucks that I would have shot tonight, and it's 2 deer that I haven't really talked about a whole lot. There's that buck that has a big flyer that I was calling him French Fry, but we haven't seen him in a while. I've never actually seen him in person. He looked pretty good tonight. And there's a really wide 12-pointer that came down, and I didn't know if we'd have any encounters. He's been more common up on my neighbor's property than he has down here, but geez, he looked super wide down there tonight. My neighbor John and I, we've been back and forth on how old that deer is, and I think he might be right. I think he's 5.5, but we're gonna get packed up and head back to the truck while the field's clear and make a plan for the rest of this week. Appreciate you guys being with us.
The following morning, back to the west in Kansas, the morning of November 13th sees Nolan Redeker heading back to the same stand that keeps feeding him encounters with the massive 9-pointer.
Well, good morning. It is the morning of November 13th today. And I sat this stand last night and had an incredible hunt. Rattled in my target buck, along with 3 other bucks. So hopefully this morning we can lay eyes on him again. He's due to cross this crossing. He hasn't been here in several days, and it's a spot that he frequents quite a bit to cross this creek right here. So I'm hoping this morning he's in here looking for a doe. I think things are really getting good right now. Just a lot of searching going on yesterday. Got a bit of an easterly wind, which isn't great, but it's supposed to be super, super light. It's about 37. It's going to be pretty clear, so I'm just betting on my thermals rising this morning. Hopefully he comes through and gives me an opportunity this morning. We'll see what happens. Well, just caught a glimpse of that other mature buck we have in this area. I think that deer's got a hot doe in there. Hopefully the 9 gets wind of that hot doe and makes his way through. If I got a hot doe in the area, it's gonna be pretty tough to leave here today, so I'm gonna sit probably about lunchtime. But hopefully he'll come through here eventually.
With bucks all around him, Nolan scans for the right one. That same morning, fresh off of closing the saga with Fitzmagic and Mike Reed, Rye Ludwig is back in the saddle. Set up in the same stand that saw him nearly tag his biggest buck ever only days before, Rye prays for lightning to strike twice.
Hopefully she comes this way.
just enough of a hill there where they feel secure, you know?
Yeah.
Just need a little buck to go up there and mess around, you know? Well, it is 3 straight days on this farm with a shooter encounter. We've got a doe bedded in a cut bean field and tight tens just on the other side of the waterway with her, so we are gonna see what plays out. They're kind of trending in a northeast direction, but all we need is one little small buck to come in there and get them riled up, and we might be in the chips. He's looking this way. They got him up. Gotta be a little buck the way he's acting. See how he's trying to cut her off? No, come on, doe. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on this way. Come on, buddy, push this way. Saying to Ty when they were bedded up out there that all we needed was a young buck to come down, and we got it. And popped out on the fence over there, and you saw what happened. We got to about 100 yards, and then she took off and went straight down into the timber. So I don't think we're out of the game yet. We've been hunting our thermals all morning, and now that the sun's getting up higher, we are starting to lose them a little bit. So it's okay. The northwest cuts us right along the creek. Like, it's a risk, it's a marginal win, but okay with taking risks in November. So gonna keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully he walks through here. Hopefully we can get a shot. It's exciting. That's 3 straight sits in here with encounters with target deer. So it's actually, I mean, if we see Arnold today, that'd be 3 straight sits with encounters with both target deer. But almost got it done.
Deciding against cutting his wind, Ride gets down and calls the hunt. And though his streak of seeing both Tight 10 and Arnold in the same hunt comes to an end, by the end of the day, Rye acquires the confirmation he's been searching for since November 10th. The Arnold buck is alive, and all focuses moving forward are back on the world-class whitetail.
We're starting things off on a positive note, but November 12th, you never know what could walk by. Hopefully it's big. Big and mean. We like them mean.
Well, as you guys just saw, pure madness just broke out. That was crazy. I've never had any experience like that, especially with rattling. Man, he's in here.
Man, it was a good hunt. We had a lot of rut activity tonight, saw a lot of different bucks. Actually, 2 different bucks that I would have shot tonight.
This has always been a dream of mine to kill a deer on my own property, and tonight we finally did it after 4 years of owning this land, so pretty excited to have my kids with me tonight and my wife, so this is something I hope one day they take after and want to do as well, so.
Establishing a goal builds out the framework to help guide the journey to an end destination. All of his life, Clayton Dillard has dreamt of hunting his own dirt, let alone shooting a buck on it. Though daily he serves his community at the local fire station, at home he's also a hero, and the walk up to the Indiana Bruiser with his family delivered another moment that only the great outdoors can provide. In his own way, Zach Rosmus is reaching for the same goal, and yet again he very nearly accomplished it. With multiple great bucks searching for a match on Area 52, it's only a matter of time before a moment appears for Zach to seize. Day by day, the hunt seemingly passes by with a quickened pace that strikes a nerve in all hunters who have yet to fill a tag. But truth be told, we haven't even hit the halfway point. With a glass half full mentality, the stage is set for another chance to see an aspiration turn into a milestone. Though seemingly random, bucks are on their feet, and the only way to be sure you don't miss them is to be out there. After all, this lack of predictability is the very essence of what makes this time of the year so special. Not knowing what may wander by, tomorrow is a new day, and it just might be the defining moment of the entire season. This is the ambition that drives us as we proceed, chasing November. While some of our team enjoy the off time after punching a tag, for the rest of us, we're right on the cusp of the halfway point. The middle of November is an energizing time to be a hunter, and that's where we find ourselves in this story. Already having 2 great bucks down so far, Mike Reed's attention is shifting right where it's been all season, back to the woods. Exchanging the bow for a camera, it's now time for daughter Bella Reed to embark on her first ever bow hunt. Perfectly timed, this opens up the door for Rye Ludwig to set out on his redemption tour for the Arnold buck, who just showed up for the first time since the close call a few days before. Like Rye, my attention is refocused on the buck I've been hunting all season. For some, this time of the year is a dreaded mystery, with a buck's whereabouts being random based on the doe he might be following. My hopes rely on this exact exchange, and with the drop time's frequency on the property increasing, I must find the right spot to be. Gavin Katurba's season has been chock full of close calls, but with the team's surge in success, he carefully selects when to hit the woods, trying to find the delicate balance of work and hunting. With both the bladed 8 and 6x5 fueling his thoughts, soon he will resume the chase. And though he's the only one who hasn't actually seen the buck he's hunting, resuming his quest for the junkyard buck is Caleb Greiner. On the morning of November 14th, Caleb is back on stand, enjoying fiery hot action as the sun cracks the horizon.
Well, it's a heck of a way to start out the day. That drop time buck, we need to find a name for him, but something along the lines of angry and mean, because when he does reach maturity someday, he is going to be a mean old buck. He'll be a fun one to hunt. I think that was a better snort wheezing the other day. Shane and I were talking about that. That was pretty cool. So, man, yesterday's movement was very, very slow, midday, and honestly, I should have been sitting corn, sitting some kind of food source or closer to food. I've said this farm's about 400 acres in size, and I would say over half of it is just corn, standing corn right now. I know the corn's coming out next week, early next week, and I know that I want to get a couple more stands up. So if the movement's going to be slow, I think I'm going to take this time to get a couple more stands hung. It's a lot of work trying to get all these stands hung in here. It's a mile access all the way back in here. It's a long ways in, so just be a lot of stuff to do first thing in the morning in the dark. So we'll get everything done today. Tomorrow's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be warm still, but I'm really looking forward to the weekend. Casey's coming down as well. Pretty eager to see it come together.
Caleb decides on his next move, 80 miles to the northeast, I'm headed back to the permission farm, continuing the quest for drop time. All right, well, we are doing something that I typically don't do, and that is going to be, we're going to drive all the way right to the tree that we will effectively be hunting this deer out of. A couple of reasons why. Number one, like I've talked about quite often, the landowner is very active on the property. And number two, leave a lot less ground set. So I am literally gonna leave the truck running. We're gonna hang these two stands and we're gonna get on out of here. I'm telling you, this is the spot. I really think we have a chance of killing them. Thick bedroom right here. You know, this is just a wind set and we can get in here clean with these access trails. You heard Owen talk about those. And yeah, I think that this is gonna be the spot, guys. All right, well, November 14th here, and making a move on this drop tine deer. Getting two hawk helium pros hung in this big tree, and there's actually an old stand in here from however many years ago, but I'm getting them walking this alleyway right here. It's a big path that connects two bedding areas, and I think what he's doing on a northwest wind, or north winds in general, walking this path, searching for does, and he's able to wind scent check this whole bedding area on the path of least resistance. It's pretty dang thick in there, and so we're gonna try to use this against him, and next time be the camera and not wait for those photos. It's hot, but it's a great day to get this done. Got the truck right below, which is atypical for what I do. Don't want to be intrusive, so hopefully this is the tree stand that pays off for us big. I might try to get my stand right over here and then Alex off the backside so that he can film, but I do need to figure that out because I want to make sure that we're able to shoot him. And we're talking like a 5-10 yard shot. So it's a little closer than I'd like, but we'll see if we can make this work. All right, well, both of these stands are hung, and it took a little bit longer than I wanted just because we had to redo the second stand. I originally had set it on the opposite chute, and long story short, when I started thinking about where he's coming from, where I expect my shot, it would have been a very severe quartering to shot, whereas if I move the stand right here, you know, that window opens up a lot better. Feels good, great spot. We'll come right in off this hill and hopefully kill this drop time next week. mom's not here, no matter how high you get. So we just shot 20, 30, 40, 50 in this wind. I'm telling you, I've never really shot a bow. This is the Alpha X. I've never shot a bow better, and I don't take that or say that lightly. I mean, I've had this thing for probably a week and a half, 2 weeks, but really just got it dialed in a few days ago, and I mean, I'm very confident with the bow, that's for sure. All right, well, that wraps up a productive November 14th. Alex and I got those 2 stands hung, and I really think that that's gonna be the spot that we get our shot at the drop tine. It's gonna take some all day sits, and it's gonna take some luck for him to still be off his doe, but he's shown some consistency there in the last 3 weeks of going through that path, northwest winds. Friday is the day that I really think we got our opportunity. We got south winds until then. Confidence is high with the bow. Team's doing good, life is good. Hope you guys are having some great hunts of your own. And we'll see you guys next time we're in the woods. With a new plan laid for the buck, my excitement for the upcoming wind shift is extremely high. The following morning, 338 miles to the south in the state of Kansas, Nolan Rediker is continuing a quest of his own.
Well, we're just breaking daylight here on the morning of November the 15th. Crazy to think we're halfway done already. I'm really excited for the back half. We got some good weather coming. I've got a lot of days to hunt, and got a good deer to chase, so that's the one I'm after this morning. I've been after the big 9. I've switched stands from the one I've set the past several times. I'm back to the original stand. He's been going by here, honestly, probably more regularly than the creek crossing, so definitely going to be some bucks locked down with does right now. Been seeing a lot of hot does when I've been on rides and stuff like that. I know a guy's been seeing a lot of bucks locked down with does, so hoping to catch him between does. It's about 45 degrees, a little warm, but these are the last couple days, and then it's going to really cool off here, so we're going to see what happens here this morning. He literally came from directly downwind. Like, I don't understand why he would come from where he came from, but he doesn't have a doe. I'm gonna let him work off a little ways and give him a rattle. Hopefully he'll come back. I'm guessing my thermals are helping me out, which is why he couldn't smell me, but hopefully we can get him. Well guys, it's about 10 o'clock. I think I'm gonna wrap things up here this morning. Got back to work for just a couple days, and then I get a hunt the back stretch in November for about 2 weeks, so I'm excited for that. excited for this deer to chase him in here. It's getting good, getting a lot of encounters, and man, I think it's just a matter of time before he slips up. If I had to guess, I would say the bucks are pretty locked down right now, and the ones that aren't are looking hard until they can find one. So if I had to guess, I would have guessed that 9 point found a doe somewhere in that bedding area, and that's why he never came out. This little 10-acre piece that's right in his home range, he comes right through here, gotta be dang near every day. So gotta keep after him. I think it's just a matter of time before we can catch up with him.
The following morning, back in the state of Iowa, longtime team member Matt Dykstra is venturing to a nearby piece of public land. So far, his season has been dedicated to one buck. With one close call tallied a few days prior, Matt decides to wait on the forecasted weather change to make his next move. Luckily, Iowa is home, and with no intention of wasting a day, Matt slips into a historically productive stand on a nearby piece of public land.
Here we go. It is November 16th. We're halfway through the month of November already. It's hard to believe. This morning I decided to come and try something a little bit different. I know this is historically a pretty good spot. We were hunting a pretty good deer here last year, and unfortunately he ended up getting killed by another hunter. But you never know this time of the year. We're starting to get to that point of the rut where bucks are starting to break off of these does. There's less available every day, so they're starting to cover a lot more ground again. This time frame's been historically one of my better stretches of the season, so I'm gonna settle in here. Hopefully I'll be in some action this morning.
Meh.
I can't believe it. I hadn't seen a deer all morning.
That was pretty sweet. Wasn't really expecting a whole lot this morning, just with the weather not being that good, but that just goes to show you this time of the year you never know what can happen. I only saw one deer, but it was a good one, so I'm gonna go ahead and get everything packed up and then go meet my dad back at the truck. We'll go get our hands on him.
While Matt heads to meet his dad to take up the trail, that same morning, another father-son duo is also in the woods. Set up in southern Illinois, team members Chad and Kason Holmes are continuing to hunt their rutcation.
All right, day 13. Kason and I come in here and got in these lock-ons I hung back in August. And basically what it is, it's a bottom, a hardwood bottom. Buck's been chasing does. Does been running for their lives. They'll probably come in here and get a little drink of water. It's a pretty secure place. I think they feel comfortable moving in and out of here. I think the lockdown is still going on. It's been slow yesterday, a little slow this morning, so hopefully things will start to pick back up this afternoon. It's about getting close to 10 o'clock. It's been pretty much MIA for the bucks. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to climb down and regroup and try another spot this afternoon, see what happens. But we'll pick back up with you guys then once we get settled. Just freaking had the most crazy experience ever. So, I don't even know what to do. As you can tell, we're on the ground. Kason and I had packed up, beginning to walk out. Like we done walked probably 10 yards. And Kason was like, here comes 3 bucks on a doe. And so we just got on our knees and hit the dirt. And that 7-point come running up here and basically just stopped at like 15 yards. And Kason was able to get the camera out and got on him. And I just smoked that joker. Of course, he got over the hill there, but he couldn't be, he can't be too far. Couldn't be more pumped about this deer. It was an exciting hunt this morning, man. Kason and I will never forget this as long as we can, as long as we live. It's gonna be something that we're gonna talk about a long time. And, this time of the year, literally within seconds, it can all change. And, it changed for us today. So I'm stoked. I gotta get a tag, call in and get a tag on this deer, and we're gonna get him packed up and get him out of here, and we'll go from there.
While Chad and Kason enjoy what Chasing November is all about, back in Iowa, Matt and Warren Dykstra are heading in to do the same.
Here we are behind this beautiful Iowa public land 8-point. This morning I decided to kind of mix things up a little bit. We've been hunting the main farm. We've been hunting it pretty hard the last few days, hunting for that buck that we call Hank. With this cold front that we got that's supposed to come through tomorrow and really start dropping the temperatures down, I decided to go ahead and let that rest. I decided to come to this piece of public ground that we've been hunting the last couple years. That just goes to show this time of the year anything can happen. The weather can be hot, you might not be getting pictures of the mature buck you're after on camera, but you know, even with that, you never know what can happen. I don't have any pictures of this buck. We just came through cruising looking for a doe. This time of the year, you just gotta be in a tree. Ended up being a great hunt this morning, and I couldn't be more happy to wrap my tag around this buck.
Well, it's a heck of a way to start out the day. I'm really looking forward to the weekend. Casey's coming down as well. Pretty eager to see it come together.
All right, well, both of these stands are hung. Feels good, great spot. We'll come right in off this hill and hopefully kill this drop time next week.
This little 10-acre piece, it's right in his home range. He comes right through here, gotta be dang near every day. So gotta keep after him. I think it's just a matter of time before we can catch up with him.
Casey and I will never forget this as long as we can, you know, as long as we live. It's going to be something that we're going to talk about a long time.
That just goes to show this time of the year anything can happen. The weather can be hot. We just came through cruising looking for a doe. This time of the year, you just got to be in a tree.
The heat wave endured the past few days has surprisingly delivered a string of hunts that prove you just never know what might unfold when setting out for the stand. A chaos-driven ride, both Matt and Chad's race to finally punching a tag reminded us that it's not only about the buck or the hunt, but rather who gets to share in the long-awaited milestone. Advancing forward, the predicted weather front slated to grace the Midwest is exactly what is needed as we find ourselves in the heart of the month navigating the persisting rut. Frenzy or ghost town, for now at least, many of us still have a buck to hunt, and we will be there searching for an opportunity to materialize in front of our stands. After all, we've waited all year for this, and in a flash, the outcome of the entire season can completely change. This is enough for us as we proceed chasing November.